Yo, so this is a little different. It's a little uh more along my normal type of life. This is what I do when I'm not like making videos or trying to work or trying to just be a part of this family that I often spend a lot of time with. This is for like my individual life when I try to absorb, experience, experiment, and observe what is going on in like life per se. Like what kind of view, what what is this world that we are allowed to experiment upon. So I was watching this video. It's by a really cool group of people. I'm talking about the hold on, let me pull it up. The Pursuit of Wonder. It's a channel, and the video that we're gonna be watching is called the feeling that you're going crazy. Um, it's kind of funny because if you watch my videos in my channel, I often lay in left field, or at least I think to. I try to be pure to the moment, try to just kind of hit record, and we're just gonna do it. There's no, oh, maybe I should script this, or maybe I should add this in here. I like to keep it pretty pure to who I am, and you're gonna watch the gradual progression. I mean, I have videos that I was gonna pull up and just put into a compilation about where I came from, but we'll do that on a later note. For now, we're gonna listen to this message, so make sure that we're all in this together. All right, cool. And three, two, one.
There is a wisdom in this sort of general madness, a wisdom that reminds us that there are no right paths, no set directions, no certain answers, no dumb questions, that up is down and down is up, that the world is anything and nothing, that it's not that serious. In the words of Carl Jung, be silent and listen. Have you recognized your madness, and do you admit it? Have you noticed that all your foundations are completely mired in madness? You wanted to accept everything, so accept madness too. Let the light of your madness shine, and it will suddenly dawn on you. Madness is not to be despised and not to be feared, but instead you should give it life. Be glad that you can recognize it, for you will thus avoid becoming its victim. Madness is a special form of the spirit and clings to all teachings and philosophies, but even more to daily life, since life itself is full of craziness and at bottom utterly illogical. Man strives towards reason only so that he can make rules for himself. Life itself has no rules. That is its mystery and its unknown law. What you call knowledge is an attempt to impose something comprehensible on life.
It's powerful, man. I would watch the rest of it, but I just wanted that quote. Um, you know what I often wonder too is like when you're living life, when you're trying to you know, coexist with other people, are you in there to show who you are, like show your life, like this is who I am, this is how I live, this is what I am about, and I am expressing as such? Or do you go in with the approach of understanding where other people are coming from, as in you understand their lives and try to reimagine, re-envision, re-experience whatever they were talking about, so you can understand the feelings that were in them. Like, I think that's called empathy. But when you're doing that, you're seeing from your eyes, from the viewpoint of yourself in that embodiment, to like, oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you, or like just correlating to your own decision making. Are you seeing from an unbiased third party as the actual view of like, oh, this is probably what they were going through? And you could ask those questions. I like to ponder upon those and wonder like, what kind of perspective are you seeing in there? And is it like jumbled? Is it like partially third party, and then you're like, oh, well, not that part, maybe, and then, well, I just have a few questions about this section too. And I was like, hmm. And how do you even approach that to someone that's lived their life and that's there? There is no, I don't know where it could have went because this is where I went. Like I've taken this route my entire life. Like, I don't need any other life. My life is fine. There's no change. There's no quote, quote, whatever. Like, oh yeah, there's options, but it's not a change. It's just adding to my path. Like, they're not seeing the alternate routes. So how do you understand someone that's seen like that as a person that has taken many routes and tried to change, tried to, I don't know, broaden this viewpoint of life and not stick to a central point as an origin? I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anybody for that. I'm just wondering where it would be placed. Like, how would you see? But that's neither here or there because that's all external. And the main thing that we got to remember is that life is individual. It's individualistic. I mean, you can share your life, you can allow people to be controlling factors in your life or influencing factors in your life. You can allow certain titles and certain uh, wages and values to amount to your successes and your opinions and whatnot. Like, but it's not something like set. There is no set. You create it. You just got to be like that. Um, you know, I often like to stop. That's what I learned because I took a speech class, and before I used to always say e, and just like try to fill in the space. But it's very important to recognize a pause, a stop, a moment of silence, to really take a second and absorb what is being said and being sure that it's understood by the audience or the reciprocating people of your collective, people. I don't know, I'm trying to make it sound smart. But regardless, you just like to have those silences because most times when you ask someone, hey, what did I just say? Or could you sum it up in your own words? Oftentimes, at least the people that I've frequented around, they'll be like, well, I can give you this, but I didn't listen completely to all of it. Like, I wasn't prepared to be able to say, all right, I'll fire back exactly what you said. But that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if you understood it. So oftentimes when you ask someone, like, in your own words, could you repeat what I just said? Wouldn't be able to. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it too because I often am the one just trying to instigate some sort of conversation that isn't, oh, how are you doing? Oh, the weather today. Or, did you hear about that thing at work? you know, like, I'm trying to get towards deeper meanings, I guess, or like just real things. I don't know. Um, so when someone comes up to me matching this energy, oftentimes I am off guard. Most times I'm very unprepared. And then when they reciprocate something like, okay, could you, in your own words, tell me this? And if I'm not on my ball, I'll be just as guilty as everyone else. And I'll just be like, well, I can tell you this, but I can't fully comprehend exactly what you said. And then that goes into the question, if you don't understand what's being said and you're not quite sure where to go from it, please ask questions. Please take a moment and just be like, at a good moment when they're in a sequence where they can be like, okay, let's take a pause. You'd be like, hey, I had a few questions about what you just said, but we don't digress too far into it in an explanation, because as one that has gone through huge tangents or like huge lectures, you could call them, when you stop someone when their brain is firing off, most times, if you do a little stop, say, hold on, I have a question, and you continue along for a multitude of questions, it becomes quite difficult to come back to the original thought train and chug along just as if you had never taken that break. It's like, well, where did I leave off at? And then if you have excuse me, if you have a group of people that are actually keen to what you're saying and really interested, very attuned, I guess, to the viewpoint that you're trying to give off, they'll be like, oh, you were saying like this, or I think you were here and then you were digressing towards this point because it was going to lead toward whatever point you were just saying. And then that can help someone create the logic they needed to get familiarized with their thought train and be like, okay, that's where I was and we can go forward now. I love that though. I love that I can just say stuff like that. See, this is my digression because I honestly lost wherever I was saying. But I love the fact that I can now get to a point where I can explain, you know? Like, I don't hang around a lot of social people, obviously, because to be who I am, sometimes it can be very embarrassing. Because I feel so insecure about being seen. So the fact that I don't be around a lot of people makes me more comfortable to just display who I am. And it's better like if 10,000 people that are not in my close proximity see me and experience who I am than if 5 people that I actually know get to see my channel, because I wouldn't know how to react. Maybe that's because I'm fake. So, but I just wanted to get to that point there with Carl Jung. He's a very, 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 very influential person. And I just want to say, don't take it too seriously. Try to live in the moment if you can. Create your life.